The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
Abba, we need you. Ani lidodi v'dodi li. He sends up wake-up calls in our businesses, in our marriages, in our health, in our children, in our everyday life. And those wake-up calls remind us we have no shot without him. You want to hear a wake-up call? So, the last few weeks, my brothers and I, my sister and I, we were davening and praying for my father, Yitzchak Nisim Ben Luna, that Hashem should save his leg. He has a bad case of diabetes. From his knee down to his foot, they put over 6 stents to try to keep the blood flow flowing. All the stents locked up and were closed. Completely clogged with no way to reopen. The doctors come in with zero tact, no bedside manner. And in front of the patient says, I don't see any way around this. I think we're going to have to amputate. We're going to have to cut off the leg. Shema Yisrael, I looked at the doctor. Are you so heartless? In front of the man, you talk like that, like it was like, who won last night in the Yankees game? It was like that. You so heartless? You talk like that in front of the guy? Call us outside. Talk to us. Let's talk together. Nothing, no compassion. Cold as steel. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So first I'm going to tell you the Emunah Bitachon, and then I'm going to tell you the wake-up call. You ready? The doctors in Jersey Shore told us we have no shot. The leg got to go. They're going to cut from the knee down. My father's the Baal Tekei of the Mir Yeshiva for the last 40 years. Here in Brooklyn. He blew the shofar on Rosh Hashanah for the last 40 years. Here in Brooklyn. I started to pray. I said, Borei Olam, Abba, my father needs to stand up on his legs this year, Rosh Hashanah. He needs to blow shofar. You're going to take his leg? You know what that's going to do to him mentally? You know what that's going to do to him? Shema Yisrael. Abba, I don't believe them. I believe in you. Ani somech alecha. Ani lo yachol. Can I save his leg? I can't. I can't save his leg. Ata kol yachol. You can save him, Abba. You could save his leg. You can get him up there again this year in the Mir Yeshiva to blow shofar Rosh Hashanah. You can save my father's leg. Ani somech alecha. Guys, listen to me. I need you to take notes. Remember this pasuk well. Hashlech al Hashem yahavcha, vehu yechalkelecha. Throw on God your burdens, and He will take care of it for you. I want you to hear this, because this is a life changer, and I can prove it. I can prove it. They took the MRIs and they sent it to New York City. The biggest doctors looked at the MRIs and they said, it seems that the doctors in Jersey are correct. There's nothing left to do to save his leg. They already took from him 2 toes. There's nothing left to do. It looks like when they have to amputate. That's what they told us. We heard that. It was the second brach. Abba, I don't believe in them. I believe in you. Ani lo yachol. I am not a doctor. I'm a nobody. I can't help him. Ata kol yachol, but you can do everything. Abba, in 1 second, you can turn my dad's situation around. In 1 second. I'm relying, ani somech alecha, Abba. Now guys, take note. I say every day in Amidah, Hashlech al Hashem yahavcha, v'hu yichalkelecha. Throw on God your worries. Throw on God your burden. And let Him do it for you. Let Him take care of it for you. Stop being a control freak. Stop thinking that it's all you. It's only Him. Only. No one else can help you but Him. Abba, no one else can help my father but you. For the last few weeks I've been praying in Amidah, Hashlech al Hashem yahavcha v'hu yichalkalecha. Hashem, I'm throwing on you my father's situation and I'm relying on you to save his legs. And although the doctors say there's no shot, and although the doctors already took 2 toes, Ani somech alecha, Ani boteach becha, Ani somech rak alecha. I'm relying on you that you are going to save my father's legs. That's it. But what do you mean? The doctors in Jersey said there's no shot. What do you mean? They sent the MRI to the city. The doctors over there looked at the scans and they said everything is closed up. There's no room to put another stent. His leg is shot. It's done. It's turning purple. We got to cut it. We got to amputate. No, you're not in control, my friend. Hashem is in control. This man needs his leg to stand up in front of the Murray Yeshiva this year and blow shofar. We got a phone call. It's from a guy who works with the medical field and refers Jewish people to good doctors. He says, listen, there's a Dr. Tadros in Mount Sinai Hospital. Good doctor. He's considered one of the better doctors in this area. Pick up from Jersey Shore and go into the city and see him. All right? It's between that and amputation. So, we'll go see him. I said to my family, his leg is not being amputated. Listen to me. We're relying on Hashem, not doctors. But we have to do our ishtadlut. So we'll go to the city. But remember, it's not this guy in Jersey. It's not that guy in the city. The only one that's going to save that leg is God. Abba Avinu Shabbat. We bring him to Mount Sinai Hospital. Dr. Tadros. We say, Doc. He looks at the MRIs. He says, what can I tell you? All these stents in his leg are locked up. They're closed. There's no blood flow. When they took the toes off, it didn't even drop a drop of blood. There was no blood. It didn't bleed. It was just brittle. It was like bone. Forgive me for the detail, but I'm bringing this out so you'll know how far this went. So we bring him to the city, Dr. Tadros. He looks at the MRI. He says, all the stents in your leg are all completely solid, locked up, and blocked. He says, there's no place to put another one. But you know what? I just this week got a hold of a new tool. It's a tool that I'm starting to use, and there's a shot that one of these 6 stents, with this tool, it's like a grinder. It might be able to open one of these stents to get the blood flow. Maybe. It's a shot. But it's worth it, because this is the last shot. After this, there's nothing to talk about. Amputation, there's nothing to talk about. So he says, we're going to try it. I'm booking him for an operation in 2 weeks. The doctor walks out. My father turns to me and he smiles. And he says to me, Look at Borei Olam. Look what Hashem is doing. You think this guy and his toys are going to help me? He says, this guy found a new toy. I got a new drill. You know, the guy that comes home from Home Depot all proud, he has a new drill set, you know. It's like, I got a new drill. He says, you think this guy and his Fisher Price drill is gonna help my leg? He says, I'm relying on Hashem, not this guy and not his drill. He says, if Hashem wants to save my leg, I'm putting it on him, and he's going to say, I said, Abba, I'm with you. That's it. 2 weeks later, my sister and my brother, Rabbi Avi, brings my father into Mount Sinai for the operation. I stayed home just to pour my tears out on a book of Tehillim all day. I wouldn't move until I hear good news. My father goes into the surgery. Now guys, here's the wake-up call. You ready for the wake-up call, right? My brother and sister are sitting in the waiting room, and they were told that surgery is going to take 4.5 to 5 hours. So they're sitting in the waiting room 4.5 to 5 hours. After about 4.5 hours, a nurse comes walking out, and she walks up to my sister with a very grim, sad look on her face. She walks up to my sister and she says to her, I'm sorry. And she pauses. You're going to have to pull that mask over your nose. Yeah. My sister said, when she said those words, I'm sorry, and she paused, her heart fell out of her toes. Her face went white. She was like bracing for the worst news in the world. God forbid. And then she comes back with you're going to have to pull the mask over your nose. My brother, I don't know if you know my brother, Rabbi Avi. The fact that he didn't punch the nurse in the head was a nes nigla. I'm telling you, that was a miracle. You don't know my brother, Rabbi Avi. He can, forget it. The fact that he didn't knock her out in the waiting room was already, that he was arrested, was a nes. My sister said she got such a shaking. She said, that was such a wake-up call. She says, what are we doing here? Sitting here doing nothing? She grabbed her Tehillim. She started praying her heart out. She called me back to Lakeland and she says, is Duvi davening? Is Duvi praying? He's in there, and God just sent me a big wake-up call. He's basically saying, what are you guys spacing out in the waiting room? Every minute counts. Every prayer counts. Because the only one that can save your father is Avinu Shabbat God himself. Don't waste the time. Jump on with me. Get in with me. Wake up from your stupor. That's what Elul is about. Anila dodi v'dodili. I'm going to take up your fight, and you're going to take up mine, and we're going to reach together. We're going to connect together. Let's fight together. Let's reconnect. An hour and a half later, the operation is over. The doctor comes out. He walks up to my brother and sister, and he says these words. That was only God. Goyish doctor with a big cross hanging around his neck. He walks out of my father's operation and says, that operation that I just performed was only God. Nobody else. The guy. My sister, what happened? He says, I went in there thinking that we have a long shot at being able to open up 1 out of the 6 stents. He said, the minute I turned on the drill and I started cleaning out the first stent, it opened like butter. He says, it went so smooth that I cleaned the second stent. He turned to the nurses and said, this is ridiculous. I've never seen anything like this. He cleaned the third stent. He cleaned the fourth. He cleaned the fifth. He cleaned the sixth. He cleaned all 6 stents from the groin all the way down to the ankle. He says, I'm worried now. Your father might have too much blood running to his foot at once. I heard this. I burst out crying and laughing at the same time. I said, Abba, you're laughing at the doctors. Did you hear what he just said? The doctor just said, I'm worried that he might have a Niagara Falls of blood. He has too much blood now running to his foot at once. The foot wasn't used to having blood flow. And now all of a sudden, ba-boom! This wave, a tidal wave of bracha, of siyata dishmaya, of rachmanut, of Abba, came flowing down. Save his leg. The doctor's worried now. There might be too much blood flowing down to his foot. Oy vey, what do we do now? Hashem, you're laughing at them, aren't you? You showed them. You showed them. That's not them. It's not their drills. It's not their toys. It's not their MRIs. It's one thing. It's ani lidodi vidodili. Rely on me. Connect to me. Come back to me. And I will flip your tzarot to simachot. I will flip your averot to zchuyot. I will flip a challenging year of COVID to a year of Geula Shalema. Ani lidodi vidodili. It's about love.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org